So, probably quite a few people are aware of this, but for those who aren't, my mother passed away last week, and that was the reason why we played a previously aired show last Saturday. Also, the reason that we're going to have another best of show next Saturday because that's going to be my mom's celebration of life. Right off the bat, I just want to send big thank yous out to everyone out there who sent out their condolences, sent out their thoughts and prayers, and also dished out their advice for dealing with a situation like this. It is greatly appreciated, and also thanks to everyone here at KYCA for their support, not just after my mom's passing, but over the past few months, my mom had quite a few health issues that sometimes forced me to miss work. In some cases, miss doing play-by-play for Prescott football games, and also miss some play-by-play games over at Embry-Riddle. Her health issues were also the reason why you didn't see me at as many local games this year as usual, or when you did see me, I would show up late. So thanks to all the coaches and athletic directors out there for understanding the situation I was in and giving their support throughout these past few months. And I also have to give just huge huge thanks and appreciation to Maggie's Hospice and Visiting Angels because they really helped to take care of my mom during these last few months. And thanks to Mom's neighbors and my Uncle Dick and Aunt Georgia who live in Prescott Valley for all the pitching in they did to help, because I got to tell you something, folks. In a situation like that, you cannot do it alone. You need the help of others to get through it, and not just helping out the patient, but also helping out the caregiver, because there are going to be times so that the stress will get to you, and you're going to need to bend the ears of people who deal with these kinds of situations on a daily basis. They have the experience, they have the knowledge to dish out good advice and to do things to alleviate your stress so you don't go to pieces. In fact, I remember one hospice worker who said to me, you know who the most important person is in the house? It's not the patient, it's the caregiver, because if the caregiver completely falls apart, well, the patient is totally out of luck. And as for my mom, I was blessed. I had a good mom. There are people in this world who do not or did not have good relationships with their mothers. Thankfully, that was not the case with me. Mom was always supportive. Even when I was in high school and I told her I wanted to get into broadcasting, I wanted to do play-by-play, and I wanted to write novels. Now, some parents may say, well, that's a pipe dream. You'll never make it doing that. You need to get a real job where you wear a suit and tie and work in an office doing office things. But not my mom or my dad. Mom told me several times that she and dad had no experience when it came to broadcasting or writing, but she knew it wasn't going to be easy to succeed in, but she did tell me to go for it and see where the chips fall. And I went for it, and here I am. Now, doesn't matter if I'm not on ESPN, doesn't matter if I'm not a best-selling author like, say, David Baldacci or Lee Child. I feel like I'm doing well here in Prescott, and my mom believed that I could do well, and so did Dad. And, Mom was proud of me for that, so definitely owe her big time for that, for all the advice and all the support she gave me over these years. And also, now, Mom also did enjoy sports. She was nowhere near the fanatic about it that I was, or I am. But she always had fun whenever we do like family trips to, say, spring training games or Diamondback games or Phillies games or Trenton Thunder games when we lived back in Jersey. In fact, got a great story here. We were at this Thunder game, and I think it was before the game even started. We were walking along the concourse there at Waterfront Park, which is located, right along the banks of the Delaware River in Jersey. And the Thunder, excuse me, they had this mascot. Name was Boomer, just this big, goofy-looking Thunderbird. So he's walking up behind my mom. I see this happening, and do I say anything? Of course I don't. So Boomer puts his hands on my mom's shoulders, and she just let out this scream because she was just so surprised. And poor Boomer, he's like standing right there. And I could just sense this vibe coming from him that he was shocked over the fact that he startled mom to the extreme. And you're probably asking, well, what did you do at that point, John? It's like, well, I left, of course. But probably my favorite sports story involving mom, and this revolved around me meeting legendary play-by-play man Harry Carey. Now, to set the stage, this is the late 90s, so I'd only been in Prescott for maybe a couple years at that point, and I'm down in Hohokam Park in Mesa for a Cubs spring training game, and it just so happened that Harry Carey was in attendance that day, and in the seventh inning, he sang "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." So I achieved one of the goals in my life. I got to be in a stadium when Harry Carey sang "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." Okay, it wasn't Wrigley Field, but you know what? It'll do. It still counts. So about an inning later, I go to the restroom, and as I'm walking in, turning around from one of the urinals was Harry Carey. And I'm standing right there in front of him. And at this point, I'm in total baseball fan mode. And I'm like, oh man, Harry Carey. Hey, I really enjoy listening to you, man. So I shake his hand, and Harry Carey says to me, well, thank you, son. Thank you. So I'm absolutely stoked over this. I mean, I just met one of my all-time favorite broadcasters, a Hall of Fame broadcaster, an absolute legend when it comes to baseball broadcasting. So I get home that night. I call my parents, and they were still living in Jersey at the time. And I run down the whole story. Oh, man, I met Harry Carey, the Cubs broadcaster, and we were in the bathroom, and I shook his hand, and it was so awesome. And my mom, being a total mom at that point, what does she say to me? Did he wash his hands before you shook him? And I said to her, Mom, he could have peed right in his hand and I still would have shook it because he's Harry Carey. So definitely, like I said, that is probably my all-time favorite sports story involving mom. And so I just have to say, thanks for everything. I could not have asked for a better mom, and I will still go on and still making you proud of me, Mom. All right, folks, 928-541-1016, number to call here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. Coming up, it's something we've started doing here on the show, starting to make a tradition of it, where toward the end of the school year, we bring in athletes from the track and field teams of our 3 Tri-City area high schools. So today in the studio, I've got Libby Lavacek from Prescott. I've got Faith Palmier from Bradshaw Mountain, and Michael Colasano from Chino Valley. And we'll talk about their seasons and their time at state on the other side of this break. So we'll be back right after this. We are back on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. John Rust with you here, and it is track and field day here on the Roundup. In the studio with me today, I have Libby Labachek from Prescott High School. I have Faith Pommier. I found out how to really pronounce her name during the break. Usually I ask these things before we go on the air, and I'm like, oh, geez, we were so busy, like, just yammering on and shooting the breeze before the show. I forgot to ask how to properly pronounce her name. But it's Faith Pommier from Bradshaw Mountain High School and Michael Colasano from Chino Valley High School. Folks, good morning, and thanks for being with us here today.
Morning.
Which one of us says good morning first here? So, Libby, let me start with you here because, you were actually pretty busy yesterday because along with the divisional state meets, we also have the open state meets, and that's where athletes from all the divisions throughout Arizona compete. And Libby, you were down there yesterday at Mesa College and did pretty well for yourself, coming in 10th in the open meet, again, competing against everyone from like Division 1 through Division 4. So, just talk about what was it like mentally for you after doing the Division 3 meet, now to go up against like all the best of the best from all over the state now.
I went last year too, so I kind of knew like what I was getting myself into, but I was definitely still nervous just being there on like a bigger stage. But it helps because I know most of the girls from other schools, even though there like wasn't anyone from my school, so it was fun and exciting. Yeah.
Good. And again, you placed 10th, so just your thoughts on that accomplishment.
I was happy, mostly just because I PR'd. It's kind of, pole vault is more of a competition like between yourself, just trying to PR. So I was more excited about the PR than the place.
Yeah. Now, Faith, unfortunately, you just missed out on making state this year, but still you put in some pretty darn good performances this year for Bradshaw Mountain. In fact, on the all-time school list, you have the 12th best time in the 100-meter dash, the 12th best time, or the 11th best time in the 200-meter dash. So just your thoughts on your senior year, and unfortunately just coming up a little short trying to make state.
Despite not going to state, I'm actually really happy with my progress during my senior year because I started to run during August, during preseason, and I'm just really happy about my hard work and all the effort I put in. And despite not going to state, I'm still really happy with my times, and I know that I could, still run and progress.
All right. And Michael, you competed in the Division 4 meet last week with Chino Valley, and like Libby, you also did the pole vault, and you wound up 4th at the divisional state meet in pole vault. So just your thoughts on that accomplishment.
Yeah, I guess it was really exciting. It was a great meet. I had an amazing time. All the people there were really cool. I just had fun, really. I wasn't like super stressed at all, so it was great to like just go out there and have fun for like one more meet my final year. I didn't get like the results I wanted, even though I got 4th, because I didn't qualify for open state, but it was still like a great time. Everyone there was really cool, got to meet some new people, so it was a really good way to end my season.
Yeah. And speaking of pole vaulting, Libby, we were talking about this before we went on the air, and you said one of the unique things about pole vaulting is because that's the only event you're doing, and all you pole vaulters are kind of in your own little area, not really associating with a lot of the other athletes. So pole vaulting is kind of a little tight-knit community in Arizona high school track and field, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't. Coming in like my freshman year last year, I was nervous because I only knew like one girl from my school, and then this year no one else really pole vaulted. But it's nice because like everyone is so nice to each other pole vaulting, and it forms like a little family because you're just on your half of the track for multiple hours. So just getting to know different people is really nice.
And Michael, I guess you can attest to that too, huh?
Yeah, it's really great. A lot of us do club together as well in the off season. So it's like we'll be traveling together anyway. So when we go to do high school and we're like all separated by our own high schools, we still get to go sit there and, like see each other and like catch up and everything. So it's great.
Yeah. So I guess you and Libby have crossed paths before today? Or?
Yeah, a couple times her freshman year, like over the summer before I met her because I sometimes go down to Prescott and like talk to their coach and train. So that was the first time I met you, and then I haven't really seen you much this year.
Yeah, well, probably
Eh.
because you're doing like all kinds of different invitationals. Like Chino's at this one, Prescott's at that one.
Right.
Unless you go to like the Bradshaw Invitational, then all the local schools are there. And so Faith, now you actually are part of 3 events for Bradshaw. You do the 100, 200 meter dashes. You also do the 4x100 relay. So I guess you're kind of all over the place on a track and field invitational or event, huh?
You're right. Yeah.
So again, and I think one of the things you said is like one of your events, it's like the first one of the day, and another one is like the last one of the day. So then you've got all like about 3 hours of downtime. It seems like so. So talk about how you cope with that.
Well, because the 100 and the 4x1 are back to back, and then it's the 200 at the end. So what I like to do is I really like to like chill at my camp and get some rest before I have to run my heart out again. But I also like to walk around and talk to other schools because I really enjoy meeting new people. And I think all runners can agree that we all get nervous. So it's really comforting to, meet someone who has the same experience as you when it comes to running, and especially sprinting.
And I guess it's one of the more unique aspects of track and field because this is the kind of thing you can't do in, say, football or baseball or softball because you're just constantly playing and you're just around your own team. Where in track and field, like you said, with so much downtime, you can actually associate with athletes from other schools, and I'm sure you got some pretty cool experiences when it comes to that, huh?
Yeah, I actually have. I'm still friends with a lot of people I met in Phoenix from my freshman year, so it's really cool.
Okay. And so Libby, going back to last week, you were at the Division III state meet. Of course, Prescott, the team state champions for Division III. And of course, you played a role in that, coming in 4th in the pole vault in that one. Just what was going through your mind when everything was said and done, and Prescott as a team was right there getting that big trophy?
Coming into the meet, we knew we had a decent shot at winning, but we definitely thought it was going to be really close. So I pole vaulted on the first day, so I was just trying to do as best as I could. And even though I didn't rank higher, I came in seated 4th and I finished 4th, so I kind of wanted to do a little bit better. But I still scored those points, and then it was just supporting the rest of our team to do well, and it was really cool to watch our girls all just hit the marks that they wanted, and I'm really proud that everyone's hard work paid off.
Mm-hmm. And then Michael, I know no individual or team state championships for Chino Valley, but still Chino put in a heck of a good time at the Division IV state meet last week. Again, you came in 4th. The girls 4x800 relay, they finished 4th as well. In fact, I think they're in the open state today, right?
Right.
Yeah. So just your thoughts overall on Chino's performance down there at the Division IV meet.
Well, Chino this year, I think we have a lot of underclassmen and we're a lot smaller team than normal. So it wasn't as big of a state for us. However, we got a lot of really good kids coming up, and I've been honored with helping coaching a lot of them. So it's been great to see, even though they're not hitting all these big achievements, they're all making the progress. So it won't be long before we see a lot more people at state for Chino and just a lot bigger of a team having major accomplishments. So
okay. And Faith, now for Bradshaw Mountain, again, no team or state individual championships, but still Bradshaw put in some really good performances. You had Caden Espinoza. He was 5th in the boys 110 hurdles. The boys 4x100 relay, they finished 7th. Sarah Dorsey, she was 8th in the girls shot put. You had a few others who finished in the top 20. So just your thoughts overall on Bradshaw's performance down there at the Division III state meet last week.
I'm honestly so proud of them because I've watched them throughout the years and throughout the season work really hard, especially the boys 4x1. They actually broke our school record of after 22 years. I'm extremely proud of all of them. They deserve it, and they've worked really hard. And we're getting more great athletes as the years go, and I definitely believe that we could have a greater achievement because of it too.
Okay. And, one of the things for Bradshaw Mountain is you're actually one of the team captains for track and field over there. So just talk about how you wound up with that title.
So I think it goes back to me working hard and me putting the work in for off season because I came to my coach, Coach Glandra, and I asked her, "Hey, coach, I need a workout." And so I think she saw that and she knew that I was responsible and I wanted to work hard with it. So I think that's kind of how I wound up with being the captain for sprinters.
Okay. So, what are some of your responsibilities as sprinter captain?
A big responsibility is to make sure that everyone's doing the workout and they're doing it to their best ability. And also being a role model to all because there are quite a few freshmen and underclassmen. And to just like be a role model and show them that they need to work hard and put in the effort is a great responsibility that I have to have as a captain.
All right. And of course, we heard Michael say that he helps coach some of the underclassmen athletes over at Chino Valley. Now, Libby, you are an underclassman athlete. You're just a sophomore. So talk about some of, I guess, the mentors that you have over at Prescott High School, some of the other upperclassmen who are, helping you to become a better track and field athlete.
Yeah, honestly, everyone is like my mentor. I've gotten so close to like the girls, especially that we went to state with. So like Aubrey, Kenzie, Violet, Wiley, and Riley. Like they are like older sisters to me, and like just thinking about them graduating literally this week makes me so sad. I'm gonna miss them so much because they are so inspiring. Just their work ethic, they work so hard every single day, and even if I don't see them at meets, it like I know they're supporting me and I'm supporting them, so it's really helpful.
All right. Well, folks, in the studio with us today, I have Libby Lavacek from Prescott Track and Field. I have Faith Pommier. Got that right, didn't I? Faith Pommier from Bradshaw Mountain Track and Field, and Michael Colasano from Chino Valley Track and Field, talking about their season, talking about state. We're going to talk more with them as we have our, well, I guess we can call it the Track and Field Roundtable, since we've got representatives from all three high schools here in the area. So we'll be talking to them on the other side of the break. But before we go to break, it's time to see who shined over the last 7 days as we present the Tri-City Sports Roundup 3 Stars of the Week. Starting with the ladies, our number 3 star is Sarah Dorsey of the Bradshaw Mountain Track and Field team. She placed 8th in the shot put at the Division III state meet last weekend. The number 2 star is, well, the entire Chino Valley 4x800 relay team of Eliana and Maddie Metz, Carly Murphy, who actually is going to be running at Embry-Riddle, and Zoe Nagel. They finished 4th at the Division IV state meet last weekend. And our number 1 star of the week, it's the entire Prescott Track and Field team, since they won the state title at the Division III meet last weekend. Now for the guys, our number 3 star is KJ Greenfield of the Prescott Track and Field team. He finished 4th in the long jump and 16th in the 200-meter dash at the Division III state meet last weekend. The number 2 star is sitting right next to me. It's Michael Colasano of the Chino Valley Track and Field team. He placed 4th in the pole vault in the Division IV state meet last weekend. And our number 1 star of the week is Luke Mason of the Prescott Track and Field team. He placed 3rd in the javelin at the Division III meet last weekend. Congratulations to all our 3 stars of the week. And this programming note, this will be our last 3 stars of the week segment until August, since, well, as you heard Libby say, everyone's graduating this week. And pretty much the scholastic sports season is going to be over after today. So no more 3 stars of the week segment until August, when the schools are getting back in session and sports gears up again. So anyway, folks, that's it. Our final 3 stars of the week until August. Break time here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. We'll be back right after this. We are back on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. John Rust with you here in the studio with me today. I've got Libby Lavacek from the Prescott Track and Field team. I've got Faith Pommier from the Bradshaw Mountain Track and Field team. And I've got Michael Colsano from the Chino Valley Track and Field team. Yes, it is our track and field extravaganza today here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. And, well, since we just got back from the break of our second segment, well, you know what time it is. And, oh, by the way, unlike the last few weeks when I've had athletes in here, yes, I did give all of them a heads up because today I decided for once I'll be a nice guy and let them know about the lightning round. So, you know what, Michael, I'm going to start with you here.
All right.
All right, so for Chino Valley Track and Field, who would you say, either for the boys' side or the girls' side, is the best dressed athlete on the team? Who's the team fashion plate?
See, I think this question's so funny because nobody dresses well because it's track. It's like all of us are wearing, like, it's so hot in Phoenix, so, like, none of us are wearing anything but, like, the bare minimum. And, in fact, I even have, like, a competition with, like, a couple of the other kids to see who can wear, like, the stupidest outfit to a track and field meet. So a lot of times we're, like, showing up the track and field meet with, like, rubber ducky, like, shoes and, like, SpongeBob socks and all this other nonsense just to see who. And, like, I showed up to one track meet in, like, a bucket hat and, like, fish sandals. So.
Okay, so maybe I should change that. Who dresses the most stupid for Chino Valley?
Yeah. Probably Jacob.
Oh.
He shows up to every track meet in, like, his, like, bright yellow pajama pants.
Oh, man. Okay, so, oh, boy, we might have a competition here for this next one. So, who on Chino Valley, either for the boys or girls, would you say is the funniest athlete on the team?
There's a lot of good contenders for this one. It's got to be Dylan the Owl.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So, who would you say is, on the opposite end, who would you say is probably the most serious athlete on the team?
Serious. I'm still thinking about this one. We got a lot of, like, quiet people, but I don't know if that would be considered serious.
Boy, a tough one.
This was I'm gonna this is probably wrong, but I'm gonna say Matt, our javelin thrower.
Okay.
He's usually locked in.
All right. Now, who would you say is the most talkative athlete on Chino?
Jacob again.
What's his last name?
Span, I think it is.
Okay.
Jacob Span.
Okay. And, well, you already said you got a bunch of quiet guys on the team. So who is the quietest athlete on Chino?
Quietest. Truth be told, the quietest is probably slipping my mind simply because they're the quietest. But quietest one who I, like, know really well is probably Maddie Metz.
Okay. Yeah. And which athlete on Chino Valley can eat the most in one sitting?
Travis.
Didn't even have to think of that.
No, that one's easy.
Man, so basically, if, like, you guys go up to Golden Corral's like, oh no, not him, we're gonna run out of food.
I've seen some of the things he's brought to track meet for, like, lunch. Yeah, he's wiping out the entirety of Golden Corral.
All right, so Faith, on to you. Who would you say is probably the best, boys or girls? Who would you say is the best dressed athlete for Bradshaw Mountain Track and Field?
Hands down, it has to be me. I just have to say it has to be me.
Oh, man. Well, we think highly of ourselves, don't we?
Not at track meets because.
Oh, yeah, obviously, yeah.
Ooh. But, yeah, I gotta say me.
Okay, so who would you say is the funniest athlete on Bradshaw Mountain?
Honestly, I would say Henry Villarreal.
Mm-hmm.
I remember this year and last year he ran the 2-mile. He took 23 minutes, 22 minutes. Everyone was cheering him on, and our athletes were helping him by, like, putting food in his face and helping him run. Hey, he ran faster, so I would have to say him.
Well, you know what? If someone put a plate full of buffalo wings in front of me, I'd run pretty darn fast to get those things. Okay, on the other end, who is the most serious athlete on Bradshaw?
I would say Trevor Head. He's really locked in with running the mile and 2-mile, and that's something he really wants to get better in, so I definitely say Trevor Head.
Yeah, and actually, we've mentioned his name on a few recaps and everything. Trevor's done a pretty good job with those runs, so keep it up, man. Okay, so who is the most talkative athlete on Bradshaw?
I would would say Naomi Astorga.
Mm.
You know, we could be going to Chandler and she could talk the whole time. But I could also say me on a good day.
Mm.
You know, if it's good, even if it's hot, I'll be going around talking to everyone.
Okay. Now, on the opposite end, who's the quietest athlete on Bradshaw?
I would say Allison. She's a freshman. She sometimes gets nervous about doing good and like running well, but I would say she's the most quiet and most well or soft spoken.
Okay. And finally, who on Bradshaw can eat the most in one sitting?
Listen, it's a duo. It's Manny Beltran and Henry Villarreal again at track meets. I mean, they're throwers, so you know they gotta fuel. But I've seen them bring whole like loaves of bread, a whole like jar of pickles, like the big like the great value kind, cranberry juice, but like it's the great value kind, and they could finish it like before the track meet is over. So I definitely say both of them.
So they got a big loaf of bread. They got the pickles. Does that mean they make like pickle sandwiches?
Sometimes, yeah.
Oh, Libby, that face you're giving.
That does not sound appetizing.
I mean, I like bread and I like pickles, but it's like maybe not together, or at least in a sandwich form. But I guess to each his own, you know?
Yeah.
And you know what? If they do well at their events, it's like, keep it up then. I think we had a guy in here last year from Chino Track and Field who, like before meets, he would eat like marshmallows and everything. And dude was a state champion. So it's like,
Oh my gosh, they used to love nerd gummies, and coach was so mad at them for it. They would buy the like nerd clusters, and like they'll have each of them would have a pack, like a full pack, and then we would get on the bus and. Mets was always so disappointed in them.
but they were successful.
They did well.
Yeah.
They did do well.
I'm just one of these people like, hey man, whatever works, keep doing it. I don't care. I don't care if it like goes against the grain. All right, so Libby, let's get with you and Prescott here. Who on the Prescott Track and Field team would you say is the best dressed athlete?
If we're talking like track dressed, it's definitely Blake and David, our distance duo. They have some funny shorts. They have like rubber duck shorts, flamingo shorts, donut shorts, and they match a lot. And the funniest part is we like host middle school track meets, and they've like told their little siblings about these shorts, and so now you see like little kids running around with these like short donut and like duck shorts, and it's really funny.
Oh, man, I didn't realize they had that much influence on the middle school ranks.
Exactly.
Man, way to go, guys. Okay, so who on Prescott would you say is the funniest athlete?
We have a lot of funny people. Ella Holdsworth is funny, but I might be biased because she's one of my closer friends. All like Kenzie and Viola are funny. Kalani's pretty funny. Yeah, they're all funny.
Okay. On the opposite end, who is the most serious athlete on Prescott?
Definitely IK, Luke Mason. When he gets locked in for jab, he has like a hour-long warm-up routine, and he gets locked in.
Okay, now who on Prescott would you say is the most talkative athlete?
100% Jade Fur. Jade, I love her, but she is always talking, and it's really funny. So yeah, she could also be the funniest, but she talks a lot, and it's funny.
I've interviewed Jade when she was with other sports like volleyball and soccer, and yeah, I can see that for most talkative and funniest, definitely. Okay, now on the other end, who is the quietest athlete on Prescott?
Maybe Jenna's quiet when you don't know her, but when you get to know her, she's definitely more talkative. Or KJ. KJ's pretty quiet.
Okay, and finally, who can eat the most in one sitting?
It's definitely Rucker or Eli. I don't know if they're like bulking for football, but they can definitely eat a lot in one sitting.
Probably bulking for football because I think they start like summer training and the 7-on-7s in a week or so. So yeah, they definitely need a little more fuel there. All right, so Michael, again, track and field here today. So how did you get interested in participating in track and field?
So I think it started in like middle school when I was probably 7th or 8th grade. My sister was going into like her freshman year, and she was trying to figure out how she was going to transition from American Ninja Warrior, because that's what both me and her did, was we would train for that. And we were trying to figure out how to transition that to like a college sport that we could, like continue into college and like get a scholarship for. So we were looking into it, and I think both of us tried like every single sport we could. And for me personally, it was like I tried archery, and it was great. I really liked that, but it just like didn't seem like for me. I tried basketball, and I like sucked. And then I tried running, and at first I was gonna be a 400-meter runner. That was the original plan. And then my freshman year, I ran a 106 and decided that is not for me. I was terrible. So I was sitting there talking to my coach one day, and it's like, I want to pole vault. Like, is there any way I can pole vault? And he's like, we don't have pole vault at our school. Let me see what I can do for you, because I just kept asking, even though he kept saying, like, we don't even have it. Like, what do you want me to do? So finally he was like, hey, Prescott has a team. They said you can come over and, like, learn the pole vault and see if it's something you'd like to do. So I went over to Prescott over, like, spring break my freshman year, and I loved every minute of it and just took off with it. It was, like, the only thing that really, like, super clicked with me.
And certainly successful at it again. 4th in the Division 4 state meet last week. So, Faith, what got you interested in being a track and field athlete?
Honestly, it kind of started with like a deal I made with my dad. During freshman year, I was thinking about doing softball, but my dad said that I know you could do well in track and field. And, if I did a race, I would get contacts. And, I really wanted contacts at that point. So I tried out for track and field. I just see if I liked it. And after my first race and my first meet, I just started to get addicted to it. Runner's high, I guess. But, the feeling of like working hard and like seeing your progress is something that like got me really into it. And my nickname that I used to get from my dad and my old coaches were Flojo, or that old 80s track star.
Yep.
And it just like stuck with me. And, over the years, I've done volleyball and cheer, and they were fun, but nothing compares to track because it's so fun. And you get to meet a lot more people than you would in other sports. So that's how I got into it.
All right, Libby, what about you? What got you into track and field?
It's kind of a weird story, but I was a gymnast for almost 10-ish years, so a really long time. And then when I stopped gymnastics, I knew that I wanted to play a bunch of different sports. So I followed this girl that I had like found on a TV show, and I ended up like, I don't know, I just really liked her. So I read her autobiography, and in her autobiography, she actually was a pole vaulter. And so she was talking about that, and she was a gymnast, like turned pole vaulter, and I was like, wow, I think I'd be really good at this, and it sounds fun. So yeah, I went to my AD, and my mom contacted them and was like, do you have pole vault at Prescott? And she was like, yeah, we have a coach. And so I just went out one day and been doing it ever since.
And successful at it too. Again, 4th in the Division 3 state meet last week, 10th in the open meet yesterday, and of course coming up to the end of the show here. And Michael, Faith, you guys are seniors, and Faith, you already got your plans in order here. You are actually going to be joining the Army Reserve to help earn money for college, and you plan on I think you said you plan on going to Sacramento State to study anthropology. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I'm going into the Army Reserve on a full-ride scholarship. It's called the Minuteman Scholarship. And my family's actually from Sacramento. So going to California, I love California, was like, no option there. So I'm really excited to go to Sacramento or Sac State. And I'm really excited to pursue my career in archaeology. I have a lot of goals in that. And I'm also really excited to be a part of the Army Reserve, too.
All right. And Michael, you said no college for you, but you're going to, I guess, follow in your sister's footsteps along with being American Ninjas. You're actually going to go into welding.
Right. So, yeah, I've been welding since my sophomore year. So I have all my certifications now. And I think I'm going to stay in town, save up money, be smart about it, invest, and just I'll probably still compete in pole vault, just not with a college. And, I just wanted to go straight to work. I felt like I didn't even need to go to college because I already have everything that I need to do what I want.
All right. Well, best of luck to both of you here. And Libby, well, You're just a sophomore, so I guess you're still thinking of college, huh? Or that's kind of been the distance a little,
I
huh?
have a little time, but it's gonna come fast.
That it will. Well, folks, we are coming up to the end of our show here, and I want to give big thanks out to Libby Lavacek, Faith Pommier, and Michael Colasano. Prescott, Bradshaw Mountain, Chino Valley track and field teams. Guys, thank you very much for being on the show here. Congratulations on really good seasons, all three of you, and best of luck in all your future endeavors.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
All right. Well, again, folks, that is going to do it for our show. Again, next week, next Saturday, we're going to be doing a best of show. And before we sign off, I certainly want to give all my congratulations to the senior classes for Chino Valley, Bradshaw Mountain, and Prescott High Schools, as this will be commencement week for all three schools. And also, on the horizon, folks, it's our summer tradition. Our top 10 lists will be coming up soon. So we'll have top 10 local freshmen of the year, which actually Libby made that list last year. Top 10 teams of the year, top 10 local coaches of the year, top 10 local grads at college of the year, top 10 games of the year, top 10 female athletes of the year, top 10 male athletes of the year. That'll be coming up all throughout the summer. That will be starting up soon here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. So stay with us. Till then, folks, want you to have yourselves a good one, and we'll see you again actually live in 2 weeks. Have a good